you been doing that? Okay, maybe that's why. No.
Good truck on top of that.
Have they been having a lot of festivals?
Yeah.
They go to Powwow or?
They went to Persimmon.
Where is that at?
That's
Oh, okay. Hi, girl.
a little tired.
I am tired.
Got air though. This one something like that.
I don't know.
Huh?
I can tell you. Have you had a day?
It's supposed to be, unless it got. I think the boys supposed to be coming too.
I remember it's there like 2:30. Oh, shoot. I hope he comes,
Do we have
because I
tape?
need to ask him about this.
Do we have tape? Is that clock messed up or is my phone messed up?
Yeah, it's messed up, it's 2-0.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Around here or not? You see me?
So we got, so we have 14 people. I never signed up for it. Yeah, but that's it. Yeah. But I'll. Yeah, I think they'll get it. Okay. So then, and then, we got one other. And then, I will call them, put it on the, wish out, something else. Or maybe I should just type it. I'm gonna work on this other probably. Okay, so we're not that in the like, send me whatever you want included in there. I'm gonna try and make that like a spotlight. Okay. And like how I'll have the sign up stuff.
So I got you wrong there. Set that.
So,
Yeah. Give everybody all the wording of the rest. Ask her to do
Usually
that.
something out and we should sign up.
And how many you want? I don't need that. Yeah, me too.
I should put it all together. Okay, I have one like that cartoon.
Did you see the email?
Okay, but I was like.
Because she was supposed to, I don't know if she takes my name. She's talking to me about it.
Yeah.
But she
A bunch of
emailed.
different stuff. Oh, you did, okay, I see, maybe like what it would be. Yeah. I didn't have.
It's,
And then
I just left her and I was like, that's fine. And then I told her, I said,
Exactly, yeah, and then I just, I put like Halloween, and like the different things.
she's like, well, why are you not? And then she said,
That's good, so I'm like, realize like, oh, hey, it's better. That's such an easy thing to like, oh yeah, that's, this week,
you said that,
I need to, I'll still have Alex do that.
usually by the community office,
I've been looking at one time, and it seems like
supposed to start on that.
some
okay, I mean, if he
people
doesn't know it,
like mold.
we can just kind of
like
handle
just
it.
like the shoulders to here, but I haven't really seen how people do, like how you see.
We're ready to do it. Who is that, Coy? Wendy is a big voice by the way. He got held on a meeting, so he's just now going through the wall. Now, you wanna, will you call Larry or see if he's coming still?
Larry, huh?
Because I feel like he would know more about the ordinance.
And that's what I was telling Hank, is, let's call it a meeting over real quick. And then we can talk about it. But allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's why I can say a prayer. Pray with me. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for another day, Lord, another opportunity for us to get together. Lord, I just pray that you'll be with us through this meeting, and we will do things according to your will, Lord. Just watch over us and keep us today. In Jesus' name, amen. Now call to order this meeting of the TownofHardinsburg Town Board. Got that roll call.
Hank, sorry. Are you hearing it? Wayne.
Here.
Hey.
Physically.
Okay. So, this meeting is for work purposes only. I don't know if you can recall, but there's not going to be public hearing. Okay, sweet. I'll just let you know that. Okay, so business, ordinances. I'll put it on this table. I know we're live, and they can still see me.
Yeah, I think it's just weird.
It's easier for, like us to talk, so we just, people to do it, and then there are two people on this side, we do one.
Turn it back.
All right.
Join the table.
You're an advisor, so you're supposed to.
I'll get up here.
Okay.
Can you pause that video?
Can I pause the video?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can pause it live.
I was
Grouper chat. Okay.
ordinances.
Ordinances, so we need, clerk, bring me out this.
Just so you.
I did a little bit of research.
Oh, okay.
Where's yours?
I really think like the trash, junk stuff is what a lot of people, I'm not just me, is what I don't like to see. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. I'm sure some people have some neighbors that have a bunch of stuff everywhere. Like abandoned vehicles, like that one you were talking about a couple weeks ago. I don't think that anyone, well, I don't know, because I'm in town limits, but I'm not here. Loud noise. I didn't know I had a lady who I wish lived in town limits, who played blast music from her sleepout, but she's outside of town limits. But stuff like, that's just an example.
And actually, you can call for that because you're in county, and I'm pretty sure the Washington County has a noise ordinance, but Hardinsburg does not. So if you have issues with that, then you can call.
It's 24/7.
Yeah, you can call them for sure.
Anyway, and then there's like animal stuff that I don't really know, like I don't wanna be like I can't say that, like my dog is always everywhere. This is just like, I just.
Pass your dog
held a bunch
in an
of
aisle
stuff.
in Dollar General.
He was in the
He
store.
goes in there all the time.
Oh, God.
Whenever I listen to him.
That's in the aisle?
Yeah. No, I'm just joking.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, here's the list of
She's
things.
got more.
Oh, she's got more, okay.
Yeah.
I was saying, we got the same thing on this list. You know what, there's only one. I'm gonna say
Sorry.
one.
And then I thought, a lot of the stuff, like, I wouldn't really say, like, we don't have, like, public parks. Well, we do, okay, you know, no littering, and some of that stuff is just, like, common sense,
Yeah.
which is, and then you have, like, burn ban and stuff, but I feel like that's
Actually,
after
the fire
county,
department.
yeah. And we already have, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff on here, but I think some are less important than others, like ATVs, golf carts, what can be driven where, some livestock, what you can have, I don't really wanna do that.
I think the
Just
whole
saying
ATV thing too is like, because the highway falls under the highway
Yeah.
law, so
Yeah.
if they're stickered and registered, then they can drive
Yeah.
on county roads and stuff.
And another thing that I think was the biggest thing is unsafe, like structures, like stuff that could be a problem for your neighbors, like shoddy electrical work in a shack. You know, like that, what if that caught fire, you know, just,
Yeah.
so I think like unsafe structures and then just people having trash, junk and stuff overflowing everywhere. Like I was on, actually going to pick up my dog and I was turned off 150 onto, is it Wright Street? And what's that road if you're on Wright and then you make the first right-hand turn? Yeah, and the roads are already narrow enough back there, or people just like park, and you know what, if your neighbors are okay with that, but like who's to say?
Yeah.
You know, there's campers and cars, and like you can't hardly drive through it. You know, so what if, you know what I'm saying? It's
Becomes a
just
safety
like-
hazard
yeah.
for fire equipment,
Yeah.
emergency rescue
Well,
stuff.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that's a big deal right there.
and I just feel like and maybe they have something worked out, but still, what if they don't? And then you get neighbors mad at each other, and when you could just make a clear rule, like, sorry,
Yeah, I
this
don't think,
it's against the ordinance, like, can't, you know, that's what, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think whether neighbors are in agreement or not, it's like, because even if two of the neighbors are, like, you still can't walk down the road. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, that's with vehicles and stuff.
Like, I was in my side by side, it was hard for me to, you
Yeah.
know, whatever, but I'm sure people who are going
Well,
down that
there's
street
also
often, it might be more of an issue for them.
Medical emergency.
Yeah.
And that would be a problem.
Okay, so,
We're just going to kind of guide us on. But.
yeah, so we got like property standards, like an ordinance that would like address like your property standards, like yards and lots, like grass, weeds, not exceed blank height, like
What height?
Palmar does 4 inches.
Oh, wow.
So Palmar is if your grass gets above 4 inches, they'll send you a notice, like if it's not mowed.
4, is it out there with
But-
the?
I'm
but
telling
I
you,
guess-
Larry.
But I guess like
Is with the
4
board.
inches, you've gotta send out a notice. By the
Send
time
out
it
a
gets
notice.
mowed, it's probably more like 8 inches, you know, so I guess you
Yeah,
gotta
that's
catch it
why.
kinda
I
early.
mean, you don't have to be at 4 inches, I mean,
5 inches.
I'm saying like,
I said like 12 inches.
like.
That's what I
a
had
foot,
here,
yeah,
12
but
inches.
That's some tall grass.
It is.
That's tall grass, but I mean,
So then if it does that, then you would send out a notice to them, hey, you gotta mow your yard. Give them a certain time period to do it, if not, then we have somebody contracted, call them, they would go to the property. The homeowner would be billed, that would be sent to the county and certified to the county, and that bill would go on to their,
Okay, so that's
Property
how we
tax at
can
the end of the year.
enforce that, okay.
so then if they don't ever mow it or maintain it, then they're gonna accrue, you know, basically taxes, and then the whole thing with these two is that if you end up getting, I guess, a fee for not doing it, and it goes onto your taxes, if they're like, well, I'm just gonna pay it $700, it's how much my taxes
Your property
are.
taxes, you can't, you have to pay.
These
Yeah.
fees are first, so
Yeah.
then they would be behind on their
Yeah.
taxes, so, yeah, so you can do all this, you know, but we've got like the grass, that we need to figure out a minimum height or maximum height that could be, kept free of excess trash, junk, debris. That's another thing, if they don't clean it up in a certain time period, you have a company go out and clean it.
I think we got this from the same
Good
job.
job. Yeah.
No inoperable or unlicensed vehicles may be stored outside for more than one day,
Yeah.
weeks, whatever, you know, or not more than so many vehicles can be on a property that are, if they're not licensed and insured, that's how most places are. Like if you don't have a licensed insured vehicle, it can't just sit in your yard, it's gotta be in your garage, or you've gotta have plans to do something with it. how we feel about, if there's anything we need to add or adjust on, like lots, properties, things of that nature.
Well, maybe we wanna write down like the specific things that we think are important, and then, we can like drill into them from there. So I think we all agree, no resident may allow trash, junk, or debris to accumulate on their property. So if some of us create like one list, then I guess
You want to
I.
Yeah. So I am of the understanding that if there's a county ordinance that exists, we don't need to duplicate it. We just fall under the county ordinance.
We would
So
have.
any ordinance that we write is specific to Hardinsburg,
Yeah,
where there isn't a county ordinance already saying the same thing.
but we have to adopt the ordinances that the county have in place, because since we're our own corporation, we don't fall, they can't enforce those ordinances for the county unless we adopt those ordinances.
Right.
So that's like how we get outside their, building ordinances and code and all that, like we don't fall under any of that either, so, and that's one thing that, I'll not put it on here, but also, which we can't vote on it, but, I've talked to Washington County's, health department and their inspector when it comes to septic and stuff. He's already paid to basically do the inspections for all that for Washington County, so he's already getting paid to do it. He said if we wanted him to be ours, then he would be happy to do that, but we can address that in our next meeting because we can't like vote on things here, so. But just keep that.
So that would be, I would put that aside and make a note that that's a Washington County ordinance, or Washington County, that we are gonna adopt. That way we know what we're gonna do.
For the
Whether-
inspector?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That ordinance
which that's
is-
state, I mean, that's just a state, because he just does septic, so that falls under the state law. But he's just he's already paid by Washington County to be the inspector for all of Washington counties.
Right.
But since we're our own town, we have the freedom of hiring our own or using him, so we would just have to come to an agreement, vote in basically if we wanted to use him or not, so that's just something to think about unless, if you find someone else that you would like to talk to or possibly get.
Which he's normally the one that come in.
Yeah.
He comes and does the subject questions here anyways.
I think it would be easier though if we can just adopt ones that already exist.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to look at, like kind of looking at the county ordinances that are in place that kind of follow what we want to do. We're just trying to get a structure of like, what do we want in our town? And then we could even go to like Livonia and like look at their ordinances and we just basically copy and paste theirs to ours instead of having four.
Is that the same in the county? Where if we adopt them, we're basically copying and pasting?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, all these ordinances, like you said, they fall in county, so basically like Alex's neighbor
Right.
has to follow those county ordinances, but Hardinsburg does not. So that's where we have to like decide which ones we want. And then we can just, that's what I'm trying to stay away from Floyd having to like write all our
Absolutely.
ordinances.
I agree.
It's gonna be,
The only
Like
ordinance
chunk of money.
that somebody's approached me on is the noise ordinance. Other than that, nobody's mentioned anything to me.
I do not have one.
Loud noise, it's not, do we have to do it, like, do you have time?
Yeah, Washington County has it from
10
10
o'clock,
o'clock at night.
so 7 a.m. or
I
something.
think it is 10 to 7 is what they have.
Monday through Friday.
Uh-huh.
And then some places have like, you can put the signs up, can't roll down through town
Yeah.
for Jake breaks his screen. Like you could do that, like no air brake signs up where it's an ordinance through the town. Which most people would probably go okay with that, because there'd be a lot of people live on the highway and you
Yeah.
guys just.
Can we govern a state highway?
I think because it runs through town, because if you put a noise ordinance, then.
Elmira
That's
has
something
one
that
up,
has to
does
pass.
something, yep.
I don't know.
They have a
Maybe,
sign
yeah.
up.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think,
really?
Yeah.
yeah, and I think, some of the towns do like Greenville, like have an
Greenville does.
ordinance too.
The grass, how tall the grass leaves?
You guys
Yeah,
said
well, 12
12?
inches is like
I think
5
6
inches tall.
inches, I think 6 inches, because then by the time that you give them their notice, and if they mow it, or you go to get someone to mow it, it's probably gonna be 12 inches.
Randy,
It's tricky, because you can get stuck in where you're sending out so many things, and people are mowing it within that day or the next day anyway. And now you're caught into this process where you didn't benefit at all.
What do you mean?
Because you're gonna go through the process to send them notice, and then whatever escalation that we do afterwards.
So you're saying we need to do it quicker? Like it needs to be,
No, I'm saying less, because if you do it quicker, now you're doing a lot of work. When we're
Basically,
gonna
if
cut
they're
it down
gonna
5
let it
inches.
to 12 inches, they basically are not gonna.
They're not gonna go out and
so
look.
12 inches.
So
Because
it's
I can
like-
promise you, my yard has been higher than 4 inches multiple times.
4 inches? Yeah. 4
I mean,
inches is like this.
our
big.
side field, I
Some
mean, if
people
we
mow theirs
get
at 3 inches.
3 days of rain,
Yeah. Okay,
it's
so
so
12
thick.
inches.
I think
I
that's.
think
I mean,
12
they
is
get
fair,
12.
because that's gonna give you the people that really taking care of their property anyway. You get to 12 inches, you're not going out there and pushing on it. Like,
Yeah.
so 12, we can't, we'll just go with 12.
You don't know until you do run it for a while, you can always change it.
Yeah, right?
But if you do it too strict, you're gonna be doing a lot of paperwork up front.
Yeah, I think 12 inches, I mean, that's a foot of grass, I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
And it's not necessarily only for an appearance reason, it's for health and safety as well.
Yeah.
So,
What about the abandoned vehicles? We want to put that, right?
Absolutely.
okay, but like, are we gonna have a limit on like,
Yes.
because like if I bought, like, that's what we're talking about.
Like I've got that S10 sitting in front of my barn, like what do I do, but what do I do?
it's
You
hard,
know?
because in the town is one thing,
But
and when as soon as you go 100 feet,
That's what
People
I
got
said.
land.
There's some of them that are in here, and I was trying to get like Boyd's opinion, because
You could probably put language in there that would state like
like when I think of
a certain area, you know what I mean,
right, yeah.
right
all
here.
these
Yeah.
two vehicles per 8 acre.
I know, like, just how do you do that?
That's not
I don't
bad.
know.
See, because, and, well, you could probably do that, depending on what it's, but then if you got somebody that owns 10 acres, they could have fucking a
But
junkyard.
no one has 10 acres
Oh,
within this, like, you know, like a town.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying, if you limited it, but that's another thing, is like, they might not, maybe not in town, but
That one's tricky.
Can't you leave it up to discretion? Can't you just put, abandoned or inoperable vehicles must be removed or stored out of public view? And if it, you know,
That's a good start.
and if people complain about it, well, you know what, enough people complain about this, we need to do something about it. Like, if it was out of the way, or if you lived on enough land where you had the space for it, people would complain about it.
We
You know?
have no approved junkyards in town.
Yeah.
and that's, one thing you can do to get by that is the license and insurance. If you have a way to verify their life, because
That's, yeah.
this guy,
So-
this guy's.
So is registered also considered registered?
What do you mean?
Because you can register.
Yeah, that's
It's
what I'm saying,
registered.
but you're gonna prevent people. If I bought an old Fox body that I want to fix up,
Yeah.
and you're like, we can't have any driveway unless it's insured or licensed, okay, well, I'll put a tag on it and insure it, like, I plan on fixing
Yeah.
it. You know, these people that's got 30 cars, they're not gonna pay, they're not gonna dish out the money to license
Yeah.
and insure all those vehicles. So
So,
that's gonna like limit your,
So it's become more of a law and order than a.
yeah.
But again, that rolls back to health and safety,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, because I mean, there's some places in town where if somebody was hurt, they had to get a at the doors of these houses, you know. If your yard's 3 foot tall, you know, that's health and safety. If you've got cars where the people in there safely, you get to a person that needs help, I mean, that's another health and safety issue.
Okay, so we wanna
do we wanna?
continue to kind of think about this, is that what
Well,
we're
we're
gonna do,
gonna,
or?
we'll keep thinking about all of
Until
it.
we do.
Like-
Really done.
What I wrote down was unlicensed and uninsured and abandoned and inoperable
Within.
So it's typical, depends on where it is, it's 24 hours.
Oh.
And if it's not a hazard, it's 48 hours. But the notice that I put on the truck that was here for 12 years and is still there was 3-week notice. So it depends on where it's parked, what time range.
I think-
Well, here's another one,
That's what I was
is
telling her, though.
no parking
cause I think that would maybe fall under like the road and street ordinance.
Street and traffic ordinance.
Yeah, so,
I'm not reading that, I'm just writing it down.
so what kind of time period do we wanna look at for those vehicles?
For these.
Mhm.
Well, I think we can adopt the county one for that initially,
Okay.
for as far as the time frame goes for abandoned vehicles.
What is that?
24 if it's parked in a manner that is a safety hazard, and 48 if it's not, something to that effect.
I guess, I mean, I don't care, I would have thought it would have been more time. I mean,
No.
how realistic
I
is
said a
that?
week is what I was thinking, because that's what I told her, I was like, if I bought a truck that I wanted to get parts off of, like a week feels like enough time where if you were like, well, I just bought this truck, I want to get parts off of it and then get rid of it. Well,
Yeah.
What about, does that include like if someone's car broke down and then they're trying to get it fixed? Is
No,
that-
that's abandoned.
Well, that's licensed and
Okay.
insured.
Okay, I was gonna say.
And someone who,
That might-
they're gonna want their car sooner, you know, like they're not gonna leave, you
Yeah,
know.
but I was thinking, maybe that would give them enough time to like,
Yeah, but if it's licensed and
Fine,
insured, they're
okay.
not falling under that
Yeah.
ordinance. Because they're like, no, this is my vehicle, I'm just trying to get it fixed.
But is it real, you know, I know we want like ordinances and stuff, we also don't wanna like make everyone's lives incredibly difficult and make them hate you. Like, I just don't know if 48 hours is a reasonable time, like, listen, I don't like the
For
junk in
an
the
abandoned
car.
vehicle?
Yeah, I mean, like, I just feel like if it's sitting there, then they might like struggle with the resources to get
But
that
it's
out.
abandoned.
No, well, I mean, not just abandoned, or inoperable, I mean, like. you have-
They're different.
Well, if it's under the same ordinance, right?
Yeah, but inoperable is gonna get tricky, because it could be licensed and insured, but inoperable. Because it might be like,
Well,
their
this-
driver that's broke down, so that wouldn't technically just inoperable. If it's licensed and insured sitting there, that's not gonna.
Yeah, but that's
affect
why you
that.
have to include unlicensed and
Yeah.
uninsured,
Yeah.
abandoned or inoperable. I think what we're really trying to get at is like just the junk cars sitting in
Mhm.
people's yards for X amount
Yeah,
of time.
if
like-
people are buying cars to junk them, they don't need to like set up
No.
the property for
So,
X amount of
so,
days,
I
like it
guess,
needs to come and go.
I guess what I'm saying is I feel like that if it's in a hazardous area, then you got 24 hours. But I feel like if it's in their front yard, I get it, like it's ugly, I think it needs to be moved too. I just don't know 48 hours is reasonable.
Not initially, I agree. So coming out with, maybe in 6 months, when everybody gets everybody in order,
Yeah.
it would be good, so there would be a grandfather period for people to go through the process to get rid of these vehicles,
Yeah.
once the ordinance comes out.
Yeah.
Like,
A
To
month
be
per
like, here
vehicle,
you
something
have,
reasonable.
you have a heads up, and then once this comes into effect, then it's kind of like you know about it, and, you know.
might be able to put language in it too, when we first adopt it, that it's like, hey, from
From
the day
this
of
day.
adoption, you have 30 days to be compliant before notice will come out. Something like that, you know what I mean?
I struggle with this in the fact that I don't want people to incur unnecessary expenses.
Oh, I don't either.
We want them to modify their behavior so that the town gets cleaned up.
Yeah.
That's the main goal, but
Well, I-
we'll do it in a way that we help them any way we can without incurring fees.
And that's another thing that we're gonna have to discuss is, like, what kind of fees are gonna be associated with these ordinances, so. I mean, first offense. you
So
know,
here's a scenario that I talked about with the noise ordinance. There's somebody here who makes a noise once in a while, it causes a problem, they get reported, they get a notice. No problem, it was a one-time thing. You have somebody who's wealthy and doesn't care about any ordinance, and they have parties every Friday night. And it's $100 fine or $50 fine, when you get 30 notices, then it's a fine. I'll pay $50 a month to have my 4 parties all day long.
Yeah.
So it's got to be progressive in a way
But-
that if they don't comply,
Yeah.
it ain't.
And that's what I
But
was
who's to
going.
say that you don't just have a neighbor that hates you and complains about a noise ordinance? How are we gonna prove?
We have to investigate.
How are we
Whoever,
gonna-
the code enforcement officer, which we're gonna have to have if we have ordinances. And not me.
Me? No.
So it's one of those things we may have to consider hiring to be able to do this.
But what happens in Washington County?
Well, what's the
penalty in Washington County for a noise or, like, what's
That's
the?
something we'll have to look into. I mean, and then, these are all things that, when we get all these
Because I feel like a
kind
cop
of,
just comes to your house and they're like, hey,
hey, keep it down.
yeah, we've had a complaint.
So I did talk to the Washington County Sheriff, and the only thing the Washington County Sheriff will do in the town of Hardinsburg is any criminal offense. That's it. If it doesn't rise to the level of criminal offense, we have no law enforcement.
So basically, your noise ordinance, like, you're
I-
not
I-
necessarily, it would fall back to a legal matter then, like, that would fall back to, like, what you're talking about, like, getting a police officer down here to give a warning, or if we had a town marshal to go give a warning. But as far as, like, I don't know how you would be able to give, I don't know how you'd be able to give like a penalty, like a charge, like a payment, you know what I mean, like something like that for noise ordinance. Now, all these like yards and stuff like that, clearly, you know.
And that's gonna have to be someone like on the block, like,
Well,
someone would have to be available
I think that,
to do that.
as far as the noise ordinance goes, I mean, I think it's almost like a shame thing, you know, like you're an adult, you're gonna have another adult come here and tell you that you're being too loud.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a person thing, either you're gonna get it or you're not, and maybe you need a little bit of a reminder, and you should be like, do I really want another adult in my community coming to my house and telling me I'm being too loud? You're always gonna have people that aren't gonna care, and then you might have someone that's like, oh, I didn't realize we were being that loud. I feel like if someone came knock on my door and said you're being really loud, I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, like, it's kind of embarrassing, so I just think your power with that only goes so far. Like, I just don't, like.
I agree, and I think generally speaking, everyone is a good person.
I think so too.
So we should approach everything we do with that in mind, that when we put these rules out, the ordinances out, people are gonna
Do what
adopt
they
them.
need to do, yeah. And that's what I'm hoping for.
And then if they don't, we can, if we don't even have it written in the ordinance, we can amend it and put in stiffer penalties. But initially, let's just go
Yeah.
the less
Okay.
financial burden. I imagine we can amend the ordinances whenever we want. There's no time frame.
So the Washington County Sheriff's not, they will not enforce an ordinance.
No.
So you got, so
That's what we
he's
got
got
to
a
question.
question,
Yeah,
so.
Because most of these ordinance are like, the noise one's kind of like, hey, there's an ordinance, don't make noise. That's about as far as we can take that. I mean, that's pretty much what we're looking at. But as far as the other ones where we can send out notices and we can visibly see whether they're supplied or not, then those are some things that we can actually do. But
So we should include that in our ordinances that, if there are any violations, photos and videos are
Yeah.
valuable,
Yeah.
that are time days.
yeah, because those are like y'all said, these ordinances that have like penalties
Yeah, like-
are like health and safety.
like
Yeah.
yards,
Purpose.
like structures, vacant buildings, like things like that. Like, those are all things that we can obviously keep track of. Like,
Right.
as far as somebody being like, hey, Billy Bob's being too loud, and it's
Yeah.
midnight, I'm like,
Okay.
sorry, I don't know, like, you can give somebody like, there's an ordinance in place, like, yeah, I can, you call the sheriff and be like, hey, they won't be quiet. If the sheriff will come out, then they'll come out, if they won't, then that's on the sheriff, there's nothing we can do about it, so. Okay, what about, next thing I have is structures. So, building maintained, weathertight, structurally sound condition, broken windows, doors, roofs must be repaired or boarded in a secure manner. Buildings must be kept free from fire hazards and unsafe conditions.
Vacant,
Well, you got vacant here too.
that would be like vacant structures, like all these structures that you can't see them, they're falling down, like, I feel like they should be maintained in the same, like, if we require residents to do that, I feel like vacant properties should
You
fall
maintain, no
and-
difference.
Yeah, and boarded up and safe.
And we have here, so vacant building registration. So, all vacant buildings must be registered within 60 days of becoming vacant.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that.
And
That'd
then,
be huge for public safety to know how to say. It should be some, maybe we only know, so other people won't say, oh, it says vacant, let's squat in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in
That'd be
Fredericksburg,
huge.
like, how come, there's no one overseeing that, and people just squatting in those
that's
houses.
what, yeah. And then, so if you own a vacant building and you're not doing anything with it, whatever, there's an annual fee for that vacant building for setting Hardinsburg,
Which we would
that the town will.
be our part of this.
How sustainable do
We
you
are, yeah.
make that?
Um,
Is it a sliding scale as to how unsightly and unsafe your vacant building is?
So I seen, and it said like $150 a year, and then it increased $50 to like a max of $500.
Are you, for your building, just, because the
So
one
if it's
that
valid
I,
for 5 years, it'd be $500.
$500 a year after that, and, but, cause you don't want like a bunch of homes, just somebody buy them up and they just sit, nobody does nothing with them, so it's like,
We have a couple.
Yeah.
I know for a fact, I've talked to them.
So
So,
you,
I mean, wait, what do you mean?
I've talked to the owners of the homes.
yeah.
They don't live in town, some live in Florida.
Oh, it is.
and it
And
says
they
here,
just
with
said,
the weeds
no,
growing up,
yeah, they don't
it's
maintain
falling
it.
apart, and they don't care to get rid of it or take care of it. It's just, I
And
feel like
then-
that would.
So you've got owner must provide contact information, so that'll go with like, the building will be registered through the board, like they have to register through us, give us contact information, the fee will be procured or whatever. Vacant buildings must be secured against entry and maintained to exterior property standards, so that would fall back to like your yard not being
Yeah.
so high, all that stuff. Exception to Airbnbs, question
We do
mark.
have
Because there are,
Airbnbs.
but
Yeah,
most
but you
people
still
take
have
care
to
of
take
the,
care
Yeah.
of it.
they take care of the outside,
I was saying, you
but,
would have to register those, but I was thinking COI, like, input would be in there, cause that would have to be some
yeah,
kind of.
like language
language
for
in there.
Airbnb, because like these people down here, they're not gonna pay $500 fee a year.
But
Yeah.
you can kind of
That's
consider
not
that
vacant,
though.
right?
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
I guess it's not.
I
considered
didn't,
vacant.
I don't know, I was just,
Require landlords to register rental properties, maybe have like a fee for rental property things down on.
then we know who rents,
Yeah,
who
I think
owns,
that's a good
or
idea.
grants, and,
Yeah.
you know,
Failure to comply.
Good enough, you know.
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Failure to comply would appear penalty.
Pay for that information.
So, that's one. Okay, this one is, so we've been contacted. Mobile homes,
This is something we needed.
mobile
kind
homes
of go
being
over.
moved in on the highway up here in Hardinsburg.
Transported through?
No,
Put up houses tore down, mobile home. moved in.
Gotcha, yeah.
Where?
And we're not talking like, you bought a new
I'm
home
with you.
and they move it in for you, we're talking like, these ones you can buy for $6,000
Yeah.
and move it in.
well, that was a question, so we need to have COI
what do you
look
mean
in.
you've been contacted?
So, these rental houses in town have been sold. The blue house is straight, there's a blue house straight across from our road, Hardinsburg, they've been tearing it down. That guy wants to tear it down and move like just a single lot in and start renting it out.
But this is something we have to talk to COI
Yeah.
about first, to see if there's ordinance in the county, to see if, I don't know.
Something we
or
can
in
do,
ours,
because it's
but
just,
that is another.
we wanna
thing.
prevent basic trailer parks from being moved in.
If we don't want it, we do an ordinance and prevent it.
That's
We
what,
need to pray for it.
that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's what we're
We're in agreement.
Like, no trailer parks, no like,
And that's the thing,
Building
not
codes.
against mobile homes at all,
no.
but I'm saying, and then that comes back to like y'all talking about like, 100 feet out of town, then we're like in a rural area.
No,
So-
but still, I mean, like, you're still, as long as you're in town limits, like, I think moving a kind of a
Because we have mobile homes in town limits.
which
as
is
of now.
fine,
There's
but
no
if
grandfather
they're,
in.
if
But-
they're kept up to all the other ordinances, but if you wanna get rid of a house and put this, a mobile home down there that, is,
Two trailers.
Yeah. then, no, it doesn't matter if you're, as long as you're inside town limits, then no. It doesn't matter if, no, you're not in town.
What are your reasons for wanting that?
For one and what?
To put, to not have mobile homes.
I think it's just going to,
Well, I mean,
it's gonna bring property values down, and if you get, I mean, if you go out here, you know, I mean, drive a small kind of mobile home park right there in the curb.
I'm being the devil's advocate.
Oh, I understand.
I
but
agree,
think-
I just wanna
think
make sure
that-
we know why.
I think that if you've got like, okay, so the Airbnb house that they, you know, tell how much money, well, if somebody decides, hey, we're gonna tear the house down next door, we're just gonna put 3 mobile homes in here, a little gravel driveway,
Yeah.
and make a little, I just don't think that,
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be beneficial to the town or any of the residents that own property in town or any.
So that one would have to probably be worded very carefully.
yeah, and
I'm not too sure if you tear a house that's been here for years and you put a mobile home in, I don't know whether that septic system that's there will be,
We'll run it.
will be accepted
that-
for that.
That's what we're trying to wonder too, but she talked to the county, so there was Mark, because when Mark run all them, he was gonna fix them all up, redo the septics, well, he couldn't, the septics wouldn't be up to code because your lot size had to be, well, she talked to the health inspector over there, and they did away with that, like, a year and a half
There's no minimum
ago. There's no
acreage.
minimum acreage on,
so as long as your septic test is out, and then,
if they can get their lateral lines in there somewhere on your property, then it doesn't matter. So that's gonna really affect a lot of these properties in town, because now that you, like I said, you know, you can throw a trailer in there, 2 trailers, and hook them up to one system, and, you know, if you got a 1,500 gallon tank that you can put in there, and get your lateral line in, then you got a 6-bedroom home that you can put on that tank. So you have 3 2-bedroom trailers, you can hook them all in that same system. So,
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but I see what you're saying, and even if people want to get the wrong idea, they can watch this video and be like, they're saying no more mobile home, you know, which is not what we're
No,
saying.
right.
So I totally agree, but I think we have to be very.
no, we have things in here like stipulations, like skirting anchor steps, like
okay,
blank year or new.
I was just
year,
thinking
like-
the main highway.
Well, I think it should be based more on what size the lot is as opposed to where it is
Yes.
now.
And I think we could, can we put an ordinance in that sets a boundary for downtown? Can we do something that sets a area that is considered downtown Hardinsburg?
Like the literal,
So, if you're gonna get into planning, so what you're doing is you're getting into planning and zoning.
Yeah.
And what you would do with that is you would come up with zoning districts, which may be like R1, R2, B1, B2. And so, you know, B1 may be businesses of certain size, B2 may be industrial, R1 could be residential of certain size, R2. So then you could take the town, and then there's also what's called the 2-mile fringe. So you can actually extend your zoning out 2 miles from your existing limits of the 2-mile fringe. But essentially, you could go in and say, okay, this area is B1, it's business. This area is B2. This is R1. So then you would classify that based upon what's eligible to build in an R1 and R2. And you always have the appeal process. So let's just say you took 150 out here and you came down both sides of 150 and you said, both sides of this is B1. And that's retail, commercial. Now, if something's in it and you do it, they're grandfathered. But future development would be this. Or you could make a certain part of that strip B1 and certain parts of it R1, which would be residential. And then depending upon how you set those zoning districts up, that's how you control that.
it sounds complicated.
This would all be part of our master plan when
But
we
I
have that
think-
meeting.
I think that should.
I mean, it's
That's a good
a
idea.
long process because you have to, there's a lot of legal notices, people have the right to come, so you can come in and propose districts. And then people would have the right to come in and, you know, at public hearings before you voted on it, and then you put it in place. And then, once you put it in place, then that's when they would have to get permits for, you know, it would have to be within those.
So we might not be able to say like downtown, outside of downtown, but we could literally you could do a,
Is that-
say from 150, if you did an 8th mile from each side, you know, following through town, you could make that R1. Certain building standards that have to take place in R1, and everything else outside of that area could be R2, and you could have different building standards for that R2.
Correct. And
In here?
you would use your lots, so like, you have lot sizes in town, so you would follow the geographic boundaries of the lots.
So like, basically the same way the town limits like follows.
Does all ordinances have to have a hearing before it can be voted on anything?
And your planning and zoning plan, when you do your first initial one, it takes a little bit of time to put it in place, but. And you can put, the one thing you can do is you can put moratoriums on it, so you get one done. We just went through 2 moratoriums on ours, because we changed our 2 and our 3, and we changed no, we just passed a massive ordinance on solar fields, because a lot of these solar companies are leasing agricultural fields, and so we just put that in, so.
Now, do you ever do a public hearing per ordinance, or can you group those
You do it
ordinances?
in one, you do them all.
And then as far as like we were talking about, like maybe looking at like county ordinances and like other town ordinances and just kind of copy pasting, like if they've got ordinances that we want to follow, but as far as like these building ordinances and zoning and planning, I mean, that's something we probably
So,
should.
so does your, it varies from county to county, so is your county extending their zoning into town, or?
I don't think we fall under their zoning and planning now because we're our own
Yes.
town, so.
But you are thinking about adopting some of the county
We're
ordinances.
thinking about looking at some of their county ordinances, and then if things that we could, you know, that could fall in our town, then those would be ordinances that we would adopt.
It's not a bad idea, the other thing, and I can get you some sample ordinances, but the other thing that you a lot of times can put, the other thing that's in the ordinances, it's not just what you can build and where you build it. It's like, how many cars can you have on the property, how many, you know, mowing the grass is usually included in that.
And power wire is 4 inches, right?
Huh?
Power wire 4 inches?
I think so.
See, we would be screwed.
I think it's 4 inches, and they send you a letter, and then if you, I think you have so many days after the letter to respond, and if not, they come do it for you. But it's expensive, and then they send you a bill and attach it to your property taxes. They also, they're in the process now of, I think they have 3 houses that are unsafe, where it's, kids almost hurt in one, and so they're trying to get the owners to, one, but they're trying to bring them up to some standard.
Yeah.
And so they're just now starting to do that, and then your attorney is now their attorney.
Oh, okay.
So they use partners with the attorney they had, and so, and that's my understanding, is that they switched attorneys just this last couple days.
So he's not gonna be anybody's attorney if we become judge, that was,
Huh?
so we're all gonna have to find new attorneys.
He gets elected.
Very well. Okay, so is everybody clear on that?
Yeah, we're thinking, we're figuring it
We're
out.
figuring it, well, we gotta still figure all these.
Yeah.
These are just things
We're just
like,
flushing it
it's
out.
kind of, brainstorming, is what they call it in school, I think.
Hey, Wayne, you had asked me about, because I guess you all have lots down here that have trouble developing, that have sewer, and they're having trouble getting sewers to percolate. So I looked at a couple options and talked to a couple people, and there are some small plants out, small things out there now. And one of them that they have uses a septic tank at your property.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have a lateral field. So what happens is you put a septic tank in, and then you have a line off of the septic tank to a collector line. And so you might, let's say you have 10 houses in a row, they would each have a tank with no lateral.
Yeah.
They would then have a line that connected to a main line that took it to this, I I think Norwego's the one of them, but it's a kind of it's not a package plant, which is it's not an expensive package plant, but it puts it through a couple processes and then it discharges it. Well, if you don't have a place to discharge, what it will do is use field. And so we've worked with, and there's a couple small towns currently putting them in. But what they'll do is take like one of these farmers fields, and if they'll contract with you to do it, they bury irrigation drip lines below the surface, and this water is as clean as what you get out of your tap by the time it goes through the process, and it just pushes it out to that irrigation field. It sounds like it's a fairly inexpensive, plus it also is something that you can look at in where you don't have to put the whole town on sewer, because you may not have the whole town needs it.
Yeah.
But you may be able to put sections on it as the need arises. But that may be part of your thing you have to address in town with some of these empty lots is, I mean, if you don't come up with a solution, there's not much they can do.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out too, so.
And these septics fail. When you put septics on these little bitty lots, that in time they fail, but then when your lateral field fails, there's no place to put another lateral field because you've taken up all the space that's not parking anymore.
Did you write that down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not perking.
Not percolating. Okay, that's all I have on this. Does anybody else have any other idea on ordinances or things we'd like to do?
So we have no resident may allow trash, junk, or debris to accumulate on their property. Grass and weeds must be cut below 12 inches. Laterals not permitted between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. Unlicensed and uninsured abandoned or inoperable vehicles must be removed, and we talked about giving a grace period before the ordinance starts. I put no parking in front of driveways, fire hydrants, or where that blocks traffic. And then unsafe structures, mine just worded differently, but we're saying it must be, temporary or, there are some ordinance about that. That I have, that we all talked about so far. Oh, yeah. I don't even know what to write down about that, I just put the law.
Well, I think that's, I know you guys are talking, not talking to him, but if you do this R1, R2, so you can follow like your lot lines in town. So we could basically take our town map and look at, like, if you follow down the highway through town and then you come out so far and follow
Which
those
we got
lot
the town
lines.
map, so
That's what I'm saying,
we'll talk about.
and then everything within inside of that could be one district, R1, so you could have stipulations on R1, and then everything outside of that could be R2,
And you
and you have different,
Bring map.
Can we do it by color?
Yes.
like, what color do you want, like pink and green, or?
All businesses must be blue.
Bring
Oh,
that
they have to paint their houses?
Color houses, like more commons, oh my gosh, yes.
Look like a beach town.
Yes, they
Toward
have-
that,
they
or
have
old
colors.
Corbin,
Like, that they have
four
to-
color tiles that you have to choose from, when you're gonna paint your house.
But no.
That would be it.
So that's their historic district.
Yeah, historic district,
District, yeah.
so the red fox has to be painted.
Can you change every day of this whole district?
One of the classifications for this is historic district.
So to get a historic district, you have to have property eligible for the national
I
register.
feel like that would be
Your
part of
uncle's house,
it.
whatever.
Federal designation.
Yeah,
And then you can-
tore down before you look at the other one.
It has a whole,
Well, we might be.
it's a whole other
An ordinance to prevent that from happening.
Well,
Buildings older than a certain day have to be before they become old. Somebody could just come in and grab up all the old stuff and demolish it. Do we want that to happen? Those lots, Something to think about.
Now, you all were talking about mowing, I was just listening, you had some issues. You don't, so if you want to pass to get a planning and zoning, ordinance in place is gonna take you a while. But if you need to pass ordinances about mowing, cleaning up garbage, those you could do as simple ordinances where COI would draft an ordinance, you would publish it, have a hearing, and then 10 days later vote on it. And you can start that without a planning and zoning ordinance.
Okay.
Like Palmyra doesn't have planning and zoning, because the county does theirs.
Yeah.
They contract it, but they have ordinances about grass, they're getting ready to pass one about chickens.
Oh.
You don't want none of that.
Limit it under
No,
eggs.
we
You
don't
don't want that messy.
No. And there's a simple, what they had trouble with is Facebook blew up.
Yeah.
It was simply, they had some people who were not keeping them on their property.
They're free range chickens.
Yeah, and so
They charge
my understanding is what they're passing is something that just says you can have whatever you want.
What'd you say?
But you gotta keep it on your property. Some lady broke something because she walked out the door, was
Switch on chicken food.
the neighbors stuff and fell and broke something, and that's how this all, that's my understanding is how.
No.
If your chicken lays eggs on our property, or they might.
Or if you don't tell me they're there.
Okay, so we could do like mowing, garbage, junk cars.
Those are simple ordinances.
Okay, so we can do,
And that won't take like the big process of like the zoning and planning.
No, and you can later incorporate that into your zoning ordinances if you do those.
is the no parking in front of driveways, fire hydrants, or in a way that blocks traffic, does that count as a zoning ordinance? Like,
No, it could be.
oh, so we can do that, okay.
I think basically anything that's not telling people what they can build or how to build on their property that basically is what
So
saves
what you're all talking about is health and safety.
health and
Yeah.
safety. It's what we're
It's
looking
the
at.
health and safety of the community. Planning and zoning gets into a little more in depth.
Okay.
Does unsafe structures fall within health and safety?
Well, it does.
Yes, you can,
So we can do that too?
yes, because that's what they're going through now
Okay.
with those houses they're trying to get toward.
So basically, we can do everything on this list except for tell people they can't move mobile homes in.
Yeah.
And the district stuff.
And, yeah, all of
Yeah,
this down
this is
here.
all the same.
This is planning.
This is
Not
going
mine.
to take,
Not yet.
And I think because of the time frame involved with that, we should not delay.
no, I think we need to get it poised, if we're gonna have these drafted, or if we can find ones that kind of fit our
I'll
standards.
put in here, talk to them.
Can we do the noise too? All right, good, so we all.
So we can do all of them. And we can present all of these at one, but now we need to post a public hearing, 10-day notice.
So you need to get with them to draft an ordinance, which you'll want to review.
Yeah.
Then you'll have to publish the ordinance and hold a hearing.
Publish the ordinance like in the paper. But
And then hold the hearing, and then you have to wait, I think it's 10 days after the hearing to vote on it.
so can we just pick whatever paper to publish that in, because I know that.
Well,
there's
we
like
just
six
had this
places.
conversation about you all with DLGF today. According to statute, you have to publish in a paper in your county. We don't have one. And you don't have any qualified under statute. Now, there's a paper in Scottsburg that is distributing papers in Washington County, but I don't know that they distribute it here.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what it's called.
Let's go with that one.
That one.
The other question is, does Paoli distribute its paper here? So
Mhm. So could we put it, okay,
Crawford County is, though, they got that
Clarion,
Clarion.
you can get it.
Clarion and those governors.
So you could probably put it in the Clarion.
But if we have to post it in one that falls under the statute,
You don't have it.
There isn't.
but I'm saying if we put it in like a Clarion or the one in Scottsburg, can we not also put it in the Washington County Post?
Times.
That
Yeah.
Jacob that comes to our meetings and does the stories and stuff,
Yeah.
just so people get our
It would
extra
have been
notified.
posted everywhere.
Yeah, you can put it in as many as you want, you just have
We
to
have
put
to
it in.
post our normal meetings or just our hearings?
Well, you can have your hearings, so let's say, for example, you had a hearing, in some cases, if you ever go to some of these meetings, they may have a hearing and a meeting, so they'll have a hearing, and then they'll adjourn, and then they'll call a regular meeting to order. But the hearing is a separate thing.
But that's a hearing is the only thing we have to post in
In the
our
paper.
paper.
And then the meeting,
So you gotta post a hearing,
But not,
The meeting notification process.
the meeting that you vote on it, you would have to say, we're gonna
oh,
have a
okay,
hearing.
I gotcha, but not our normal meetings
No.
all the time,
No.
okay, that's what
and so once Floyd gets that drafted, gets our ordinances that we want drafted, or we find, once we get all of our ordinances that we're gonna do, then we would post those ordinances And that would be our, we would also, like, in that newspaper, same thing, would have our date for our public hearing. And that would be, have to be 10 days out from the time it's posted in the paper. And then following that, we would just post another notice in the paper, another 10 days, and then have a vote.
Yes,
So 20 days total, we could have this.
just about, yeah.
So if we're gonna do that, then should we flesh out the ones, these a little, like, does anyone have any like, do we wanna flesh the unlicensed and uninsured one out a little bit more? Do you wanna, what's the grace period, like, just so, you know, we don't have to have another work session?
Yeah, I've got, okay, so you're talking about, like, let's just handle this out right now.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of the one that needs
Which
a
I
little bit
think-
more detail, and that's about really the only
And
one.
I think as you pass these on to Coy, he's probably gonna legally tell us, like, hey, you
This
can
is what
probably
you
do
need.
this, you can probably not do this, but that's what we're talking about, is like uninsured, unregistered vehicles on property. Like,
Yeah, what are your issues? What's your main issues that you're all struggling with now as far as the town? Uninsured, unregistered vehicles.
Trash.
trash,
Grass, vacant
abandoned
properties.
buildings,
Health and safety.
Yeah.
all health and safety issues.
So you could do that as one ordinance, you could do it as 4 ordinances. Essentially, you just need to kind of talk about what process you want to go through. So let's say, for example, you have an ordinance that says, I mean, one of them I just looked at recently has a maximum of 5 vehicles that are registered. And the vehicles have to be registered and insured. And then what they do is if you don't comply with it, they send you a notice, you have 30 days to deal with that. And then if not, then they proceed to make you do it. Same thing on grass. I forget what kind of notice it is, but they send you a notice, you have so many days to comply. And if you don't comply, then they can do it for you. Now, the same thing with trash. If you don't comply with cleaning trash and debris up, then they give you so many days to remedy. You always give them a notice, and you give them time to remedy the solution. If they don't remedy it, then you have a hearing on it at your next meeting, and then if at that point it's over, then you.
And I think, I mean, I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like all of these, like trash, grass, vehicles, I feel like a 7-day, like you have 7 days.
You gotta have a little on that. I think there's a minimum on that, like 15.
Like 2 weeks.
Whatever the minimum is, I think. we
Yeah,
should
15
do.
days, so, I mean, that's,
But,
like, that's plenty of
will
time.
Coy know that?
Quite a bit of that, yeah.
There you
And
go.
the easier thing to do is
No,
to,
you have to call.
rather than reinventing the wheel, the easier thing to do is find somebody that has an ordinance that you like.
That's what we were gonna
And have
do.
him adapt it. He'll probably have some.
Yeah. If we give him the list of what we're thinking, I think he can do that, but
Just
I would
gotta
just,
use rough ordinance.
Probably got an app for
Now,
that.
condemnation on houses, a little
And
more.
then
Oh, what is?
So when you,
Oh.
if you're
Condemning
doing
a
a
property.
condemnation process on a house,
and then we could-
that's, it's an easy ordinance, but it's got a lot more requirements in it. You have
I
to
think so.
You have to get some opinions on the structure and how sturdy it
And
is.
would that come from like a
Then we
building
don't have
inspector,
And it can come from a contractor, engineer,
On
health inspector?
not really, because you're talking about the
Structural
structural soundness
soundness.
of the house. But he'll know what those are, because they have those ordinances, so.
So Coy's probably got ordinances that fall under all these already written anyway, that he's like, here, all right, this is already.
well, we needed to come up with what we wanted.
Yeah, so,
Boilerplate.
so did you put down like, so if minimum's 15 days, are we all?
Yeah.
So I would agree, I mean, we're not making decisions here,
No.
that's reasonable, but we also need to make sure that we put in the grandfather or the initial time
30-day
frame.
grace.
Like a 30-day grace from the time that ordinance is adopted to when
When
it's
you,
gonna start taking
when your
effect.
15 days
So
start.
basically, you got 45
45
days from the time the ordinance is adopted
Yeah.
to get compliant.
Yes, I think that's fair.
So that's something we can push
Something
forward.
we can-
Coy probably know what the minimum is. on
Yeah.
that.
I'm sure that's probably.
But we want to do a 30-day grace period, regardless of what the minimum is.
Right.
Yeah, so basically like minimum, okay, so you're saying like do 30 days and then you won't be compliant, you won't get the 45. You don't get the grace period and the time period, you get the grace period to become compliant, and then after those 30 days, if you fall uncompliant again.
No, I think she's saying 45 days.
Yeah.
Get the 30-day grace period plus your
Yeah.
minimum days, a total of 45 days to be compliant.
But,
That's a
what she's saying.
one-time offer of
yeah.
30
that's
days.
what-
When the
Okay,
ordinance
so
comes
you
out,
wanna-
it's
you
a
wanna
one-time
stack-
30
You wanna
days.
stack your ordinance like your 15 days, you know, minimum, your max 15 days. You wanna stack that on top of 30 days.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Just for the
I
initial.
was saying,
I'm hard as
because,
understand.
well, I was saying, because if I pass ordinance today, and I'm like, hey, you give notices tomorrow to everyone, you got 30 days to get this cleaned up. After 30 days, you know, this ordinance is gonna take effect, it will be, but you're giving a grace period of 45 days is what you're
Yeah,
giving.
yeah.
That's
You can-
actually a good idea, though, a good point, that when these ordinances come out, we should do notices right away to those that are in violation.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Absolutely.
You
Despite
don't wanna
the
go
30
get
day
ordinance of 2
grace
people,
period.
and it's like, hey, and then we gotta kind of have to keep track of like, well,
What
we gave
day?
these people this, so
Yeah.
this day they're out, like, we need to
So
have.
then everyone's on the same, you give, here's your heads up, you have 30 days, after this 30 days is over, then this ordinance starts. So you get your notice,
Well,
and
I
that's
mean,
15
and
days.
technically, we're gonna have a hearing.
Mhm.
These ordinances are gonna be read out loud
Yeah,
to anyone
yeah.
that's gonna be affected by these ordinances.
Yeah.
You're gonna have another 10 days before those ordinances are ever passed. So they've got
55 days.
55 days to become compliant with the ordinances that are gonna take effect.
I think that's fair.
I mean, that seems,
Maybe a little more than fair.
that seems like enough
Feel
time.
a little more
It's
than
like
that,
48
because you'll have, if you're waiting 30 days to send them the notice,
Oh, wow.
appeal remedy happens after they receive it, not when you send it.
True, okay.
So if
So
you
they're
send a
gonna
certified
have-
letter, they're gonna have between the date you mailed it and the date they received it to start the remedy period. If that's 15 days, then, so they take, in today's mail, it can take 5 days for me.
You're right.
Can never get.
So it might be, I mean, they could have 90 days, basically, with all the stuff we're giving them. I mean, you got all summer.
That's reasonable. That's really reasonable.
Well, no, I thought the 30-day grace period was just pertaining to the vehicles. I don't think you need a 30-day grace period to mow your lawn.
What if someone doesn't
I think
start?
we should, I think it should be across the board.
Yeah, I
It
think
makes
it's
it
in the
excessive.
beginning, because it's gonna give people time.
This
to
is a
kinda
new way of life.
Ease into it, like,
Okay.
instead of us just being like, here's your notice, hope that's mowed tomorrow, like,
Hope that's not 15 days.
yeah, so.
Especially when it's leading to fines,
Yeah,
you know.
I think it's gonna be a little bit of a softer.
Okay, I agree.
Alex, like, agree.
Do you have that?
Fine.
With this little laptop?
Honestly, a lot of the properties that don't get mowed are the rental properties.
Rental
Because-
or vacant?
You know, that's like way in lot.
I mean, yeah, there are a lot of people that own rental properties that don't mow, but
I mean, it only takes one. The first time it happens, the word gets around, and then you usually, you know.
and that's the thing too, that we need to ask Corey, so there's a lot of rental properties on Walker. So, does the owner of the rental property
Yes.
get the notice,
Yeah.
or does the renter?
No,
Um, So, yeah,
Pays the
so,
property taxes.
yeah.
right, so that's where it also falls where,
So I can enforce.
now,
That's
let me ask a question about an ordinance. So if we require anyone that owns rental properties in town to register those properties with us so we know their address, does that fall under zoning, building and zoning, or could we put that in?
No,
the-
you can require them to properly be registered, however, when you go online to the county system, you're gonna know that because it's the assessed records are gonna show you who the owner and the mailing is.
Okay, we have that.
Yes.
We can do that. We got a real literal. On payroll, so.
You know, one of the things that, and I heard somebody say master plan, one of the things that you probably want to look at, if you have that high percentage of non-owner occupied housing, typically, non-owner occupied housing has more problems with, there's just lots of problems with. But a community that has a high percentage of that usually has a lot of other problems. And so there are programs out there that the town is probably eligible for if you had a master plan that encourages owner occupied housing. So like that grant that Paley has right now, that if you own the house, you can get interest-free loans, and in some cases, not even loans, money to update the house. And so it creates a real win, because what happens is that these real estate, if you start cracking down on cleaning up and fixing up, landlords who aren't already doing it will want to get out of it. They're gonna want out from underneath that burden. But then the realtors have to marry somebody to the property that can afford to come in and do the work to them. And so sometimes that may be the case where if you could get that grant, I can't remember what it's called, but it's through Okra.
French Lord just got 350,000.
Yeah, I mean, you all probably.
And they're applying again
Yes.
for next year.
That would
benefit so many people.
have to believe that you are eligible
Well,
for.
how do we,
We have to have a master
how do we
plan.
get a master plan?
So we need to have a meeting where we talk about the master plan and smart objectives, so we can have our vision of where we're going.
So you have to bring somebody in through the master plan
Yeah,
process.
we can't run the meeting though.
Right.
And
And you said that costs like $50,000.
To do
No.
a master plan?
not to do a master plan, but you can't just write your own. You gotta have somebody, there's certain things you gotta do to get it done, and there's places out there that'll do them for you, but in some cases, they don't cost you anything, but you'll need, because you all wanna participate, not lead it.
Yeah.
And so, you'll do your master plan, and then that's what you'll use to start applying for money. So like, for example, Palmyra just got, I don't remember how much, they got a grant to hire an engineering firm to study their water and sewer system. Now, that grant was given by Okra, who knows that Palmyra, once they figure out what they gotta build, then they gotta have money to build it. And that's because Okra gives it to you. So what they do is they give you money to get the plan done, then they give you money to do it, but you gotta get the plan done first. And so, in this particular case, to try to get because rural housing, Okra, all of those have different funds available that would help you get homeowners into some of these rental houses, which I think would solve, it sounds to me like it would solve a lot of the
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah.
So we need to figure out who to contact about getting here to run the permit.
Yes.
We can find some.
We only do that like
Roughly.
Yesterday.
Can you get that done?
What, master plan?
Have that little like.
Yeah,
little
'cause
thing.
we could do the Okra.
So,
Yeah, so,
let's get that figured out. Do you
Okay.
know what it is?
I think she can figure it out.
You can figure that out?
And I think I can help her check.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
So let's get that, and then we'll set a date for that sometime soon. Yeah. Okay, so we've got ordinances lined up.
That's pretty good.
Is there any, I work on the newsletter, I'm gonna put the Walmart too. Can you send me specifically what you want? And I'm gonna do the trunk or treat.
I'll send you.
That's another thing is, we need to figure out like, what are we going to do with these two grants? Another one is for specifically tables and chairs, and we're not getting rid of some.
Yeah, so what happened with it? What happened with that? with
They
the-
set it up.
At their meeting, it was they voted,
Did
the
you
board
go?
voted.
Did you
No,
know?
I was not here. I was
So they voted, and they said they want to keep them, so we're gonna have to figure out, but these are gonna stay here.
Right.
So Rhonda said, she said she is not leaving this building, she wants to continue to keep the senior citizens organization, she's in this building, so these aren't gonna go anywhere.
So then do we need to use them? We have that grant, you're already tables and chairs. And we already have
There's
tables and
probably
chairs
some
there.
flexibility there.
Yeah.
So that's
Probably
probably what we're looking
talk
at.
about that.
I know Corey was really supposed to be tonight, but I figured I'd reschedule this.
Hard night or what?
No, it's the last day of the month.
Hard night?
Oh,
What are y'all talking about?
Carter's next week.
It's okay, I've done it before.
Yeah, hard night is Chris,
Okay.
but we do, that's something that needs to be
haven't talked about it.
So your last event of the month, third Tuesday?
So
Yeah, and
we are
bingo
to
and
game night.
Gotta move, gotta move.
Yes.
Why don't we just do one day night per week, or per month?
Until we can get more sponsors, because
Yeah.
y'all just keep
Yeah.
doing this stuff.
I'm fine with that.
And
But are you?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
We're not
Part-time's
doing
a lot of pressure.
we're not fooling anyone.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot,
And I
but
think,
until we
like-
get a lot of people.
And I think people like the go.
And I think if you did one month, one the next
the
month,
next month?
like, you're gonna pull in different
Alternate?
crowds of people, so you do bingo one month, card night one month. And I
Okay.
think that would be better.
So I'm gonna put the newsletter.
Okay,
Yeah.
And what day do we wanna?
I would keep it on your first.
I like
First.
the second Tuesday,
Second Tuesday.
okay.
Why?
because it conflicts with other meetings in the area, and I want to share if it's on the first Tuesday, which is okay. But there's other people that have meetings on that same night, and it's the decision of come game night or go to that meeting, so.
Oh, okay, alright.
I mean, it don't matter to me. I'll
We
go.
don't matter.
So second
Second
Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
This isn't something you got to put up on, so. Okay. Okay, so we're moving on to.
Adjournment? Oh, that's what comes after.
It does, you skipped.
Yeah, I
to
skipped some
business.
stuff, so,
I feel like, I feel like that's a lot. I need to ask
yeah,
about.
you need to calm down.
About what?
Can I
The
get
bill?
a second?
Bill?
And I was wondering, I didn't know.
I got a bill from Verizon,
So can I see it?
Yeah,
that's what I thought, but we're gonna have to link it, because we can, maybe contact with them.
For Verizon that we never activated.
Oh. Yeah, I saw the little mainstream flags out there.
Yeah, I think
Is that what that
they
is?
punched it
Okay.
in.
Just wait about another 7 months. then we're gonna-
Well, they got the drop back here that says,
Oh, yeah, they put my fiber in so early, and I was like, dang, this is great.
I'll just take
Yeah.
this and take care of it.
okay,
And the next time you get the statement, it should just say zero, and, last bill or whatever.
okay.
What did they bill us for?
Well, we got a modem shipped to us, and that was within the 30 days, it was returned to them, so there should be no charges at all.
Oh.
It's just typical Verizon stuff.
Yeah.
okay, I've got a discussion on this, ideas for this T-Mobile grant. If anyone has any ideas. I know, as far as fixing it up and stuff like that, but I don't know how much money we'll get, I don't know what all we can do with it, so
Did we apply for it already?
if not,
The deadline was today. Maybe by tomorrow,
Oh, okay.
pretty sure it was today.
That,
You gotta
That
make a
will
decision. You
happen.
gotta make a decision on what you're gonna do with it by today.
well, I don't know if when we write the grant.
It has to be a
application-
shovel-ready project that can be
Yeah.
completed by next November.
I just think, it would have been nice if we could get that done, I just think that it would.
Like two,
it
they
would-
came up too quick.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we will, I don't know.
But I say if there's any way we can squeeze it in by tomorrow, just do the ball field.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get
find-
something
Put
that's
something.
on paper, but that's where you come in,
Yeah.
because
I got nothing else to do.
you wrote the first grant, so. You wrote the
I'm
application.
only 2 for 5.
I mean, that's not bad. I mean,
So,
Well, then
basically-
yeah, what's our,
so basically,
and
the field redone. so-
do you wanna look into it and then we'll go back and forth and see if it's even, like, what are you gonna need? What do you
Dirt.
need?
You need the field.
No, what do you
and
need
field.
for the grant?
Oh, right.
Information for the
Yeah.
grant, like,
Yeah.
what are you needing?
You have to have a proposed plan for what you're gonna do, like,
and a project manager, it's pretty extensive. We
Yeah,
probably
you're
won't get
gonna-
it.
Yeah,
It's
I
probably
don't
a little
think, yeah.
too late.
we may need to
I just
like,
think it'd be too much work in one day.
maybe we look at the next like application period for that grant, or look at other grants.
Yeah,
also.
there's probably other stuff out there. I do.
I mean, that's, yeah, I mean, we can shoot it out there and just see what happens, I mean, it's not gonna hurt.
So I've been in a position before where it requires 30 items to the grant. You submit 5, but because you submitted the 5, you got an extended deadline. So
So it's always
We'll try
possible.
something.
Yeah, so we could just throw something out there and see.
And even if that doesn't work, then I think so that we're in agreement that if there's another big grant that can handle getting the ball field, that like we all agree that that's.
Top priority.
Yeah, yeah.
By next year, like that field needs to be ready for a league on it by next year.
So-
So that's gonna bring in a lot, that's gonna be a lot of revenue for them. That we're missing out.
So I'm not a baseball person, I don't know what's involved, but I know that teams have equipment, teams have coaches, teams have all these things. Do we have any of that lined up?
That's, no
equipment.
equipment, that's something that,
Which is a
Coaches will
tangible
come
thing.
if you have it, but
yeah,
Okay,
because
that's how things go.
most of the time when you do little league here, it's like a parent of whoever, got a kid on the team.
The
they'll
pitcher's
want-
parent.
I thought
I know
last
some coaches.
time that we talked about this, I think we had kind of decided that there would be there'd have to be another person that reports to the board that is in charge of the little league. I think
And I've
it's
talked to
like
somebody about that,
expensive.
so, I've talked to someone about that has experience running, he runs adult leagues, but, he may be willing to do something like that, so. I'll talk to him.
So ideally, when would the ball field be ready for play?
Hopefully by spring.
This.
April
this-
first? Give me a date.
Yeah.
April
Yeah.
first.
go first.
And I mean, really, it's like, it's not that much work, but that grant, I'm telling you, the ball field.
Have you ridden the mower lately?
But I'm saying, because that grant can also playground equipment, the basketball court being redone, new basketball goals.
So there is another grant, there's several grants out there specifically for playgrounds,
Okay,
and if we want to go after them.
well, you're a grant man, so,
The playground, I think the community, we definitely need our playground,
playground.
the basketball court. But maybe we should, get the community to attend a meeting and get their opinions on what would be their top.
Hello, community,
Yeah.
we
Community.
need you at the next meeting.
come to the next meeting to talk about the ball field and what the town needs.
But do they want a basketball court?
Right.
Or is
Do
that
they
not
want, or do they
necessary?
want like
Pickleball.
pickleball?
Yeah,
Or
or-
pickleball.
Maybe have some input from.
Yeah.
the community.
Yeah.
So I think it goes back to a meeting that we had a couple months ago, where we had boards on the wall
Yeah.
with ideas for what we want, and people were able to, they got
Yeah.
3
I got a
stickers.
dry marker, we can put on that mirror right there and
Nice.
give them stickers, and they can put a sticker next to what they'd like to see the ball field.
I think we're there, and it would be a good time to do
Maybe we do
that.
that for the next meeting.
We can do
Put
that
on,
on,
It's just to
Playground
make sure the
football.
ship in the right direction.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we covered all that, covered that. We're good? Okay, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I had a couple, no.
Okay.
That was good. I motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, both, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
We are officially adjourned.
Whenever you say that, I always want to be
Can you
like,
stop
I
the
second,
live?
and then he's like, no, you need to make the motion.
yeah. Are you going to be there?
Yeah. I know it.